The Magic Faraway Tree by Enid Blyton. Chapter 25. Everything comes right. After a good rest, the 6 woodpeckers set to work again at the hole they'd made. Rrrr, went their strong beaks, drumming away at the wood. Everyone watched to see the hole getting bigger and bigger. And then a voice floated up, singing a mournful song. 2 kettles for Silky, 2 saucepans for me, 2 dishes for Moonface. We're as sad as can be. That's the old Saucepan Man, said Joe in delight. Did you hear his silly song? Oh, that's to tell us that they're all there. Oh, move aside a bit, woodpeckers, and let me call to them. The woodpeckers made room for Joe by the hole. He stuck his head through it and yelled loudly, Silky! Moonface! Saucepan! We're going to rescue you! We'll pull you through a hole we've made at the back of the angry pixie's room. Oh! There was a squeal of delight from Silky. Yay! A shout from Moonface and a clatter of pans from Saucepan. We're coming, yelled Moonface. We've got a rope to come up by. We shan't be long. Is the hole big enough to squeeze through? Not yet, shouted back Joe. But the woodpeckers are just going to set to work again and they'll soon have made it bigger. Rrrr, rrrr, went the woodpecker's strong beaks, and the hole grew larger and larger. And at last it really was big enough for anyone to get through. Joe leaned through it, his torch shining into the slippery slip. He saw a light gleaming a little way down and noticed a rope shaking nearby as if someone was holding on to it. They're coming up, he said to the others. They've got a light of some sort too, and oh, it's a candle. I can see Moonface now. Yeah, he's the first, and he's helping Silky up. Oh, and the old Saucepan Man is behind. Oh, they'll soon be here. Angry Pixie, put on a kettle to boil. I expect that they'd probably like some hot chocolate or something. And well, have you got anything to eat? Oh, well, I've got pop cakes and I've got Google buns, said the angry Pixie, looking in a tin. They'll like those. Moonface at last hauled himself right up to the hole. His round face looked white and rather worried, but he gave Joe a huge grin as usual. Help Silky through first, he said. And Joe and Rick pulled Silky through the hole. She looked pale too, but oh, how glad she was to see all her friends. She flung her arms around Beth and Franny, and they all cried tears of joy down one another. Then Moonface squeezed through the hole, and last of all the old Saucepan Man, though he had to take off a few pans before he could get through. We never thought we'd be rescued, said Moonface. We'd quite given up hope. We kept knocking and banging and hoping someone would hear us. Well, yes, we did hear you, said Joe. That's what made us think that you might be trapped in the slippery slip. But Moonface, how did you get there? What happened? Oh, now, wait a minute. Let them have something to eat and drink first, said What's-His-Name. They must be terribly hungry, for they haven't had anything to eat or drink for so long. Oh, we've had plenty, said Moonface. We didn't starve, but I'll tell you all about it. Everyone settled down to hear his story. You see, one morning this week, Silky, Saucepan and I were sitting in my house talking, began Moonface, and suddenly we saw 2 people from the Land of Tempers looking in at us. Oh, yes, Sir Stamperlot and Lady Yellowround, said Joe. We know them. Well, they looked very fiercely at us, said Moonface, and they told us that they wanted to leave the Land of Tempers because the headman was very angry with them about something. I think they'd broken his windows in a temper or something like that. Well, anyway, they had escaped, and they meant to live in the Faraway Tree. They'd found out by accident that their land was over it, you see. Oh, and they wanted your house, cried Rick. Yes, said Moonface. They had been down the tree and seen Silky's house was empty because Silky was up here with me and had taken that for themselves. Well, at least that Yellowround meant to have it for herself, and Stamperlot meant to have mine.
And they said that they'd stopped up the trapdoor at the bottom, said Silky, and they meant
trying to push us down the slippery slip and then stop up the hole. Stop up the hole. You know what I mean, that they cover up the hole in Moonface's room so that we would be prisoners in the slide.
Well, you can guess how frightened we were, said Moonface. Old Saucepan heard it all because, Stamp-a-Lot shouted so loudly, and the clever old thing began to stuff his kettles and saucepans with food from my larder and some candles too, and matches, and a rope. I couldn't think what he was doing, but, yes, obviously he knew exactly what to do.
So, of course, when we were pushed into the slippery slip, we had plenty of food, said Silky, putting her arm around Saucepan and hugging him, all because Saucepan was so clever.
Yes, and very clever indeed. I mean, he managed to tie the rope onto something so that we had that to climb up and down if we wanted to, said Moonface. And we found a little sort of cubby hole halfway down where we could sit and eat and drink. We lit a candle, and then Silky thought of knocking and banging somewhere near to Angry Pixie's house, just in case, you might be there and hear it.
Oh, we were so worried about you, said Joe. We just simply didn't know what to do. I'm so glad we thought of the Woodpeckers. So you're really not very hungry or thirsty after all?
Oh, no, not very, said Moonface. But some of the cake we bought was rather stale. Woodpeckers, would you like it? Well, it was a treat for the Woodpeckers, and they pecked up at the stale old cake quite eagerly before they flew off. They'd been very pleased to help.
So now we need to think. What are we going to do about turning Stamp-a-Lot and Lady Yellowround out of our houses? Said Silky. We can't all live with the angry pixie. His house is too small.
Just as she said that, there came the sound of shouting and yelling some way up the tree. Everyone listened.
Oh, that's Yellowround, I'm sure, said Silky. Let's go and see what's happening.
Well, quite a lot was happening. About 8 people from the Land of Tempers, with the head man leading them, had come down the tree to capture Stamp-a-Lot and Yellowround. Well, the head man had remembered what Franny had said and had come to find the 2 escaped people. They'd found Stamp-a-Lot rather easily, for he was asleep in Moonface's house, which was not far down the ladder leading to the Land of Tempers. But Yellowround had not been so easily captured. She'd seen the head man climbing down the tree and had tried to escape. She'd fallen and hung by 1 foot from a branch, yelling and squealing because she was so afraid of falling. And the head man picked her up by her foot and dragged her up the tree like that. Well, everyone watched in silence as Lady Yellowround was squealing loudly in a terrible rage, but nobody took any notice. "I won't go back to the Land of Tempers," she yelled. "I won't! But she had to. Up the ladder she was carried upside down, and Stamp-a-Lot was pushed up too. "Oh, serves them right," said Moonface, "taking our houses from us and trapping us in the slippery slip like that." They all went up. Moonface was sad to see his house so untidy and so many of his things broken. Everyone helped him to put it right. Then they all looked at the stuffed-up slippery slip. "Oh, the spell put on it will be gone now that those 2 horrible people have gone," said Moonface. "So, it's going to be a bit of a job, but, we can pull everything out." It wasn't long before the hole was free of all the things that had stuffed and filled it up. Moonface shook out his cushions and grinned at the children. "Well, everything's all right again," he said. "I'm so happy. Oh, it's lovely to have good friends like you." "We better go home now," said Joe. "We've been away for a long time."
"Oh, we can't go down the slippery slip because it's all stuffed up at the bottom," said Franny.
"Well, I'll send a message down to the red squirrel to clear it," said Moonface. He whistled to a sparrow sitting on a nearby branch. "Hey, little brown bird, fly down to the red squirrel and tell him to open the trapdoor at the bottom of the tree and clear the slide there, will you?" he asked. "Tell him to do it at once." The sparrow flew off. Moonface handed around a tin of toffee shocks and everyone took one. Just time to have one whilst that squirrel is clearing out the mess and, well, I think we all deserve a bit of a sweet. Oh, hark, listen! I can hear the land of Tempers moving off. Sure enough, there came the noise of the land moving away, a curious creaking, groaning noise that the strange lands make when they move off. Oh, what land will come next, I wonder, asked Joe. Oh, I know what it will be, said what's-his-name. I heard the head man of the land of Tempers say that the land of presents was due tomorrow. Oh, said Moonface, his eyes shining. We must all go to that. The land of presents. That's a marvellous land. Well, we can all go and get as many presents as we like. Oh, just as if it was our birthday. Oh, come tomorrow, will you? We'll all go. I can get some new carpets and things. Stamp-a-Lot spoiled so many of my belongings. We'll come, said Joe, just as he slid down the slippery slip on a yellow cushion. We'll come. Well, rather. And with that, he was gone. What was the end of his sentence? What do we think he was going to say? That's the end of that chapter. And they're all okay. Oh, thank goodness those terrible people have gone back to that horrible land. And thank goodness that land has moved away. I really wouldn't want to go there, would you? So, the land of presents, what do you think that's going to be like? What do you think it'll look like? What would you like it to look like? And if you could go, what presents would you like to find? You could have as many presents as you wanted. What would be on your present list? Do you think you could make your present list tonight and then see if the children get the same presents as you would want tomorrow in the next chapter? Well, we'll find out what they choose tomorrow. Bye-bye.